What's up, guys? It's your man, Donovan Sharp, and welcome to this Saturday edition of TSR Live. As usual, you guys can always find me on Twitter at Donovan_Sharp. Be sure to hit my website, thesharpreality.com. There you can access the entire archive of all episodes of The Sharp Reality, as well as TSR Live. Definitely like my Facebook page, TSR Live with Donovan Sharp. And of course, you guys can also follow me on Instagram. So let's go ahead and get started here. The reason why it took a little while for me to come on air here is because we've been talking shit. We've been here shooting the shit here for the last 10, 15 minutes. Like, oh, wait a minute. We got people in the chat. Let's go ahead and get things started. But without further ado,
Donovan and I forgot we were doing a radio show. We just started talking shit for like 20 minutes.
Like, wait a minute, what are we talking for? Oh shit, yeah, we got a podcast to do. Let's go ahead and get this thing going. So
fucking broadcast.
I am welcome, man. Welcome. It's been too long, man.
It's always too long, man. It's always too long.
Absolutely.
I think we should get at least like a fortnightly, like an every 2 week kind of just talk shit, answer questions, and yeah, like just because my blog is quite dense. Well, yeah, dense, and it takes a lot of concentration to read. And I like to have a counterpart to that, which is just talk a bunch of shit and keep it real and as simple as possible while keeping it real. I think it's good to have that kind of contrast going on. So yeah, I mean, it always feels. I swear, if you go back on our old shows, I think I've said like 2 or 3 times now, it's been too long. Like I say it like every fucking time, dude.
You're like, it's been too long. I'm like, dude, like we talked a couple weeks ago, man.
Exactly. That's too long, dude. That's too long.
No, I agree.
It's like, why wasn't it yesterday? Huh?
Man, I'm telling you. Listen, we got the magic touch, to be sure, man. That's for sure. And so right now I'm fucking with the settings, and I'm trying to make it so that I don't have to. I'm trying to make it so that I don't have to manually put my face up when I'm talking or your face up when you're talking, for whatever reason. Okay, profile. No, don't want to do that. Bear with me, everybody. Here, I'm just fucking with this thing here, just to make sure that all I's are dotted and all T's are crossed. I'm now presenting to everyone. I have no idea what that means, but I'm going to stop presenting. There we go. All right, cool. Well, we'll figure it. Well, I'll figure it out here one way or the other. It doesn't really matter whether they're looking at me or listening to you. I think everything is all good.
Oh, do you mean like when the face is like the picture of the face comes up? If you watch it as a video and you're not listening to it as an audio thing, like when someone speaks, like their avatar or the webcam comes up, doesn't it?
Right.
That's what you're referring to, I think.
Right. So, like, when I'm talking, they can see my face, and they can see me talking and all that. And then when you're talking, they can see your icon.
They
for whatever reason,
they see fucking Machiavelli when I talk.
Yeah, hey, that's right. And so do I. But hold on, let me hit the mute button here. Let me see if that does anything. Hold. It doesn't matter. I think it'll be all right. They can see me. They can't see you.
When you press the mute button, no one can hear you. You muted yourself.
Yes, right. Yeah. Well, what I wanted to do is I wanted to see if when you were talking while I was muted, if your face would automatically come up. But
all right, do you want me to just like say random shit while you mute?
It doesn't matter. I think it'll be all right. I think it'll be all right one way or another. It's a technicality thing. Okay, cool. So we have already had a number of questions come in.
Mm-hmm.
So, give me 1 second here. Okay, Sharp Assist. I've got. Oh wow. Okay, so you guys type any questions that you have in the chat. Right now, I'm going to go to the Sharp inbox, and we're going to field those questions in the order that we receive them. The guys who took the time to ask their questions via email, and I and I are going to tackle these. So our first question comes from Demetrius. He says, My question is focused on improving upon my dark triad traits, and as follows. He says, I am. Outside of the Prince and Robert Greene books, what other books, blogs, or suggestions would you make to someone who has scored high on the Dark Triad personality test and wishes to improve upon and master the traits of the Dark Triad?
Well, if you have naturally high Dark Triad traits, then you will be inclined to a certain degree of fucked upness in this world, and all reading those books is doing is directing your mind to be more self-aware and concentrated on how what you do works and how you can improve what you're doing. So there's two types of people who read Dark Triad shit. There are people who have like been like preyed upon and whatever, and they don't have a predatory bone in their body, and they just want to like recognize danger. They want to recognize dangerous personalities, toxic personalities, predatory personalities. You know, like they're not in prison, but if they were, they want to not be the prison bitch and recognize who would try to make them the prison bitch. Right?
Yeah, that would be a good idea, to not be the prison bitch, for sure.
Right. Exactly. So I mean, if we assume that you are the predator, and you've been reading this stuff, and it's like, well, how do I like hone my skill or whatever? I mean, if you naturally have the skill, like it's not even a skill. It's more of a it's a personality characteristic. Like if you're a natural predator, like see, the thing is, I don't believe. I think the questioner answered the test in a way that he thought he should answer it. So what I mean by that is the test says, oh, you're high on Dark Triad traits, but he gave the answers he thinks the test would want to tell him he had high Dark Triad traits because he wants to have high Dark Triad traits. If he had high Dark Triad traits, he wouldn't be asking this question. He wouldn't. Like,
okay.
like he wouldn't need. It's like a billionaire saying, "How do I make more money?"
Sure.
It's like
you've already got there. You don't have to ask that. Right.
Right. You know how to make money, right? So yeah. I mean, you can read these things. You can read text, but here's the thing: like with anything, not just with Dark Triad, like literally with anything. Like say you read books on fitness, right? Reading books on fitness isn't going to make you fit, but it's going to give you a better like awareness and like more direction in how to make yourself fit. How do you make yourself fit? You exercise. Well, how do you enhance or increase your Dark Triad traits when you're not Dark Triad? Well, you go through some pretty fucked up stuff. I mean, I don't want to tell listeners that they should be going and doing some fucked up shit, but I mean that's the truth of it. That's the truth of it. I'm not recommending it, but if you read a couple of books and you're like, yeah, I'm still a bit of a bitch. Well, what do you need to do to be less of a bitch? You probably need to suffer some pain and have some double crossing and go through some fucked up stuff, dude. And if you're already Dark Triad, you wouldn't be asking this question. Like, wouldn't be a thing.
And listen, this is the interesting thing is this is the first I've ever heard of any sort of Dark Triad test that you take. Well, you're either Dark Triad or you're not. I mean, I know I'm not. I'm not a Dark Triad guy, and I didn't have to take a test to figure that out more or less. But even still, I mean, I don't know. I can't really think of anything else that I can think of where you would have to take a test for something. And if you have to take a test for it, then you're probably not whatever it is you're taking the test for, if that makes any sense.
Well, I mean, it's like an IQ test, right? You can know you're dumb or know you're smart, but the IQ test kind of confirms or denies your initial preconception about yourself.
Yeah, let me stop you right there. I am. Rollo Tomasi's in the house.
What's up, Rollo?
Rollo, what's going on, man? Good to have you in here. So yeah, so it sounds to me like what you're saying is that if you had, and no offense to Demetrius, the question asker.
No offense, man. I was literally,
no, of course not,
trying to be as real and non-bullshitty as possible.
Sure, but being as real and non-bullshitty as possible sometimes
offends people.
Being a dick. Yeah, sometimes it means being a dick.
Like, if my intent was to be a dick, I wouldn't even be saying right now I didn't mean to be a dick. I'd just be like, fuck your mother. Like, you know.
Look, this is gonna be a dickhead answer. That's just all there is to it.
Right. So, like, sometimes it's like, fuck it, I'm gonna seem like the bad guy, even though I'm not trying to be the bad guy, just because I'm speaking the truth. It's like, yeah, they're not gonna like it, but I'm not lying. So there's value in that.
Okay, good stuff. And listen, I'm not a dark triad expert like you are. I think the very first time that I reached out to you was after I think I did an article on Returning Kings, and we're
talking about Psycho Girls.
Yeah, right.
Dark triad girls. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, listen. I mean, I know a lot about a lot of things, but dark triad traits, that's definitely out of my realm. Got a next question here, comes from Brendan Q. Says, hey, Donovan, love the podcast. You're a champ. I've got a question. Please bear with me. It needs context. He says, I essentially took the red pill when I was 18. Things got intense. I'm now 21 and realized I got lazy and gradually let blue pill bullshit back into my head, affecting my success with girls. I've been pushed to the red pill again, but it's not hitting me anywhere as hard as it did the first time. I worry that I'm holding on to blue pill ideas and that I will fall back into old habits by not translating my red pill knowledge into actions. My two-part question is, what do you think I need to do in order to fully take the red pill and show it in my actions? And second, how do I stop myself from falling back into this cycle again? Thanks, Brendan. I'll let you go first on this one.
So he learned about the numerous bullshit in the world, aka the blue pill, and he took the knowledge, and after he took the knowledge, like, going off what he said, it had some effect for some time, but then he fell in love with the bullshit again. Is that what he's saying?
Yeah. He said he took the red pill and he was living the red pill life. Then he got lazy, and all of a sudden he fell back in again.
So I would be looking at the causes for why. Like, it's like, if you know how like the why and the how. So if you know the mechanisms behind a thing. So, like, you understand a magician's tricks, all right? And you can see, like, the math, you can see the formula, you understand it completely. And even though you know how it works, you're just like, I like magic. Like why is that? Like my assumption for why people who learn the truth decide, fuck the truth, I like how things were before, is because they can't handle the truth. And you actually need to be quite skilled to know the truth and ignore it. And like it's harder to fall for blue pill bullshit. It's harder to fall for lies when you know the truth.
Yes.
It's easier to fall for lies when you don't know the truth.
Yep.
So if you can fall for lies when you don't know the truth, dude, I don't know what to tell you. It's like, you know the truth, but you just, and he and now he's posing this question. So it's like he knows he's betraying himself. He knows he's fucking with himself. Like, he knows. He's like, I know the truth. Oh, he knew the truth. And then I fell in love with the lies again, but now I'm like in this weird place where I know that I love the lies a lot, but I was also aware of the truth, and I want to know how to not love the lies. I think dissecting it, that's really what his question is.
I would agree. And my advice to you, Brendan, aside from the obvious lifting, consuming red pill content, etc., is you need to get very comfortable with the fact that you need to understand that ignorance really is bliss. And I think the reason why, Brendan, it really is. And I think the reason why Brendan I think the reason Brendan wants to hold on to that blue, to those to those blue pill concepts, etc., is because he thinks it's easier. It's almost like he wants to spit the blue. He wants to spit the red pill out. But just like you said, once the male mind is exposed to the truth, there's no going back. You can't unsee red pill truth. You can't unread red pill truth. Once it's in there forever. Mm-hmm. And so what I would advise you to do, Brendan, is you need to tell yourself, hey, look, man, and I say it all the time myself, living the red pill life, though fruitful and beneficial, it's not easy. It's not easy knowing what we know. It's not easy talking to girls and seeing through their bullshit. It's not easy, having to explain to your friends and family why you didn't marry that sweet girl who could make chocolate chip cookies but had a neck tattoo. It's not easy. It's not easy.
Oh, neck tattoo, dude. Fuck that.
Well, yeah, that's it. It's like,
is she a gang member? What's going?
Bro, listen, you'd be surprised. And listen, Rollo Tomasi, he's in Reno. You go to downtown Reno, man, there are girls with neck tattoos all over the fucking place. And
yeah,
they're not even Mexican gang members.
Right, but I mean, like Nevada, like the whole kind of like Vegas scene, it's full of hoes, and it's full of like bitches with daddy issues trying to make money off that pussy in casinos. Like that's the whole shtick of that place. That's what it is. That's literally all it is.
I agree, and I think what Brendan is trying to do is he's trying to figure out how to. He wants to recapture that fire that he had when he first discovered the red pill. Like when you take the red pill, it's like snorting cocaine for the first time. Boom. There's no high like it. And the trouble is he rehabbed, but now he wants that same high of living the red pill life. Well, Brendan, you have to understand that the best time you will ever feel in terms of the red pill life is when you finally resolve yourself to the mind. Holy shit, this is the truth. Your mind opens up, your world changes. Now the hard part begins. Now you have to lift. Now you have to train your mind not to do what it wants to do, which is to seek out female relationships of consequence long term. You can't do that living the red pill life, or at least at least if you're in the fucking a bunch of girl stages. Now, living the red pill life is not easy, especially if you're looking for a girl who is long-term relationship worthy, because there aren't many girls out there. And so what your mind wants, right. And so what your mind wants to do is your mind wants to sort of let go of some of those red pill ideals that you learn to make it easier to find someone and to rationalize in your mind, oh, this girl is a good girl, let's go ahead and do that. But the red pill is always in there telling you, nah, man, like she's got an ankle tattoo, she's got purple hair, she's not going to make a good mother of your kids.
Beauty in a woman is not indicative of virtue.
No.
So men are, we are, and I think women are as well, right? Okay, before anyone's like, oh, why are you like criticizing men? But it's like men are very fucking visual, and like the main preoccupation is like, how does the woman look or whatever, right? And I'm not saying that's bad or anything. I'm just saying that's how it is.
Well, no, it's what it is. It's the male mind. Like the more attractive men and women are, the more they're perceived to have. I think that's
right. So good looks have some influence over the mind.
Sure.
And what I'm saying is that when the uninitiated male mind, when it sees a very beautiful woman, is inclined to conflate virtue with the woman's appearance, which is fucking bullshit. There are plenty of super hot women out there who are total cunts. They are shitty people, but they look fucking amazing, right? They have great skin, they have a great face, they have great proportions, whatever, right? They are shitty people. So when you're evaluating a woman for quality, appearance is not indicative of, is this woman a good, like, is this woman going to betray me? Is this woman trustworthy? Is this woman, does she have some character or depth to her? Like dude, like this is like the one thing I think I agree with women when they criticize men, and you know, like they like stealthily read our shit, like they read red pill shit and then like criticize us. And one thing I think I agree with them on is that the men just don't tend to notice women who aren't hot, right? And but here's the thing: if you're, and this applies to men and women, if you're not strong in any specific area, so let's say you don't have like model good looks, you're probably going to try and compensate for that in some other area, right? So it's like people who are super hot, right? They don't try to be good people. They don't like, I mean, you know, there are probably some good looking people, like super good looking people who are also really nice. I'm not saying they don't exist, but I'm saying it's a generality. Is you know of the archetype where it's like, well, you know, I'm good looking. People, like the opposites, whether you're a man or a woman, the opposite sex likes me. I don't even need to try. They all want me. I can just be a cunt. I can just be a little bit demanding. I don't need to put in any work because I'm good looking. And what is the inverse of that? Well, maybe I'm like average looking or whatever, but because I know I'm average looking, I put more work into being with someone who is fucking not detestable. Like, you know what I'm trying to say?
No. Listen, I understand exactly what you're trying to say, and I liken that particular aspect of the man-woman thing to Michael Vick. I don't know if you're familiar with Michael Vick. I'm a big sports guy, but Michael Vick didn't have. Well, actually, you know what? Fuck that. Women who are good looking don't really work on other aspects of their character because they don't have to.
Don't need to.
They don't need to do any of that stuff. Listen, I say all the time, hot girls are useless because they don't have to be useful. Their beauty and living. Listen,
fucking gold.
I mean, it's true. Listen,
that's why it's gold. It's fucking true.
I'm telling you, dude, women who live down in Vegas, just like you said, some of the most beautiful women you'll ever see, they are vapid, they're bitchy, they're slutty. They don't have to be anything but hot. So why work on it if you're going to get all, well, I mean, why work on yourself to get attention from high quality men if just being there is all you need to do?
Yeah,
this is why hot girls are vapid, man.
You know the parallel I'm drawing. It's like, why you learn how to make a lot of money when you inherited a lot of money and you always had a lot of money. Like, why you already have a lot of money? Why do you need to learn to make a lot of money? At best, you need to learn how to not lose your money. Right. But you don't need to learn how to make a lot of money. Right. So if you like see beauty as a metaphor for money because it's value. Right, it's like, well, I have a lot of beauty, so I don't need to try to earn beauty. I don't need to, or like at best, I need to learn how to preserve my beauty. Like, there's no, and that's like the only preoccupation in terms of value and power. There's no other. There's no other mechanism in place. I'm like, how do I be a good person? How do I not be a cunt? How do I have a personality or behave in a way that isn't going to turn people off to me? Like, this isn't even a concern. It's like, well, I'm hot, so people are going to put up with my shit. And they're probably not even self-aware enough to realize that they're hot, so people will put up with their shit. But it's like, they subconsciously know it, so they don't try. They don't try to be likable. It's like me. The reason I'm an asshole is because I can afford to be an asshole.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Because like nobody employs me. If you find out where I live and what my name is, and you report me to whoever, like the British government, nothing's gonna happen. That's why I'm an asshole. I'm not an asshole because I was like born with like super fucking hot, and you know, like my partner is like a fucking billionaire or multi-millionaire or whatever. It's like, no, it's not. It's like I earned my right to be an asshole. Like I earned my right to be an asshole. But like the like super hot, it applies to some. Do you know what? Some really good looking dudes, they also like women, which is an interesting observation. It's like it's the same psychology. It's like, when I'm so good looking, I just do what I want. Like if I go to a nightclub, they're gonna let me in for free because I'm hot.
That's right.
Because
that's exactly
just
right.
because I'm
And listen, you can apply this. You can apply this to any part of life. At work, right? The best salesperson in the company gets more leeway than any other salesperson. He can come in late. He can take days off. He can miss days. Why? Because when push comes to shove, he can close the 6-figure deal.
He makes the most money, but he's actually producing value. He like the best sales dude is bringing the most leads and the most revenue.
Listen, same thing with professional athletes. The better a player you are, the more leeway you're going to get from the league and from the team. And then again, we liken that with girls. The hotter girls are, the more they can get away with, and they take advantage of this. Not only do they try to get away with more, they've said to themselves, I can be a bitch because I can be, but I'm not going to learn to do or be. I'm not going to elevate myself quality wise outside of my looks because I don't have to.
But I mean, like, if you have that much power being hot while having a super shit personality, imagine how much power you would have with a good personality being that hot. Like, this is very short-sighted, isn't it? Like because if you have great looks and a shit personality, and then there's someone who's like, I don't know, like average or slightly above average looking, and they have a great personality, like they can rival you, right? So
yeah,
like nobody wants to be with anyone, male or female. Nobody wants to be with anyone with a super shit personality, irrespective of their looks, for a long time. It's like, so you have dudes with really hot girls, and the girl is just like with him for his money, you know, maybe like drives a Lamborghini or whatever,
right?
Like pays for all that shit, right? And it's like, you look at him, he's like a fucking dweeb. He weighs like fucking, I don't know, like 140 or something. He's like some skinny he's a skinny motherfucker.
Right.
He's skinny mother. He's got no muscle mass whatsoever, right? He's a total fucking pussy. Probably like still plays Pokemon or whatever, right?
Pokemon.
Right. And his girl's like a 9 or a 10, and she's got like she's white, but she's got black girl lips because she's had some work. She's had some work done. She's got these big fat fucking lips, and she's got like super clear skin, and she's got like deep blue eyes. You know, she's fucking like hot as hell, right? And he's like, and you see her with this like 1-40 dude, and you're like, you're with him for his money. Like everyone who sees them as a couple.
Well, of course.
Yeah, exactly, right? But it's like, if you have some like character or personality, some actual depth and value to you, and you're like, if you're not just like this empty person using someone else for what they have. So here's the thing. So the 140 guy, there's this like rich 140-pound guy could not get this super hot girl without his money. He's heavily relying on his money because he has no depth of character, and he has no experience, and he has no like psychological prowess. Like
he doesn't have a red pill game. He just has money.
Yeah, I guess like he just like, yeah, exactly. He's like leaning on his money, and the girl is not a good person. She's not trustworthy. She doesn't really like him for who he is, but she's leaning on her beauty. So it's two people leaning on their strongest characteristics to leverage something they couldn't otherwise get. But if you have one strong characteristic, and so let's say you're really hot, but you're a cunt. Like, nobody likes cunts. It doesn't matter how hot you are. Even if you're a super cunt, like, it's going to be a very short-term arrangement because right. People just don't want to deal with your shitty. Like, okay, there's some pathetic dudes who are like, oh, this girl's a cunt, but she's really hot, and I'm going to put up with her.
Yeah, right? You know what? That never lasts long, man. Trust me.
But the flip side is true as well. Like a girl who's like 6 will put up with a lot of shit from a guy who is like a 9.
But he's a fucking douchebag all the time.
Yeah, the thing is, if you're a douchebag and you're a guy, regardless of how good looking you are, that's probably working in your favor. Like, women assign too much value to dudes being fucking total assholes. They just
listen. I'll tell you this. I've always said this: a man who is an A+ at one thing will fuck better looking women than a man who's a B- at everything. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just how it goes. Like if you're ripped, if you got washboard abs, but you're unemployed, you live with your mom, and you're a dick and you're a douchebag, dude, you're gonna fuck better looking women than the guy who's in decent shape, has a decent job, has a decent car, etc., etc. I've got a question here from Sly Dame. He said, hello, Mr. Sharp. I've been listening to your podcast and have read your works on ROK. Here are some questions, and I hope you and I can answer them in your live Q&A. Number one, he says, the way I understand AWOLT, is that all women are capable of hypergamy. It is just a matter of how they deal with the urge to branch swing. I understand that a man who wants a stable long-term relationship should prioritize chasing introverted, traditional, and feminine women. I also understand that there are things that you do to sluts that you should probably not be doing to the traditional ones. How differently, listen, he says, how differently would you game a traditional woman for an LTR compared to a slut for a one-night stand? I am fortunate enough to live outside the morally corrupt West, so we have a better chance of getting quality women here in our country.
So it sounds like his problem is there's too many decent women and not enough sluts where he lives.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
It sounds like he's a horny asshole. He wants some meaningless sex with a bunch of different women, but where he lives, all the women won't put out until they get married, and that's like a 1-year proposition.
I mean, listen, this is how it goes, though. I mean, come on. Just got to keep it real.
You know, right, I live in England, dude. Like, I see foreign dudes come here. Like, I've seen Arab dudes who come here. The Arab dudes who come here try and fuck as many white bitches as possible. Why is that? Because where they come from, like, they can't even, like, share space with the opposite sex. So they come here and they're just like, I just want to fuck all the women.
Yeah, then they go back. Then they go back to their home country and marry the virgin.
Get married.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The way I would answer that question is he wanted to know how differently you would game traditional women for a long-term relationship to a slut for a one-night stand. I think that's pretty. That question is pretty. Yeah, that's an obvious question. With traditional women, the introverts that you're talking about, and I think you alluded to this when we talked about this very topic a while back, is that you have to go. Yeah, you have to go slower with them. You can't try to fuck traditional girls. You can't be too forward, or you're going to scare her off. That's how it is.
And be less of a dismissive narcissist.
Yes. Don't listen. You cannot run red pill game on a woman you feel is a traditional woman. So listen, here's a pro game tip. Check this out. Because a lot of women out there, Sly Dame, are very good at feigning or faking like they're traditional women, but they're really not. So if you get the idea that you might actually be dealing with what's called a good girl or quality woman, act like a gentleman. Don't be a dick. Don't run red pill game. If she is not responding to you being a gentleman, all right, and you throw in a little bit of red pill game and you see that all of a sudden she's now starting to open up, you don't have a traditional woman on your hands, dude. Asshole game, red pill game does not work on traditional girls. It scares them away. That's how that works.
Man, that's some real shit. So if you're really arrogant and
you're just a dick.
You're just like, I don't even fucking give a shit about you. I mean, more money than you in a fucking second than you do in a year. Like, if you just act like that all the time and you don't care about their needs and you're just like constant just dominance and like zero comfort. Right.
Traditional women will run from that.
They'll fucking hate you. Right. Like I think the problem, I think the issue we have in the West right now is most women are total fucking hoes.
Yep.
And they respond very well to narcissism and just general like the only thing that attracts the average Western woman right now in 2017, in September 2017, is some dude just being an overpowering asshole, just basically telling her she ain't shit, and doing everything he can to show her that she's nothing and he's everything.
Right.
And that's an unhealthy relationship. That's an unhealthy relationship between the sexes. It's a relationship of narcissism. Narcissistic people, they thrive on the challenge of this person's better than me, or this person's ignored me for like 8 hours. I sent them a message and they ignored me, and now I like them more than I liked them before purely because they ignored me for 8 hours. I don't actually like them as a person. I don't care about their education. I don't care about the personality. I don't care about anything they know. But they've ignored me for 8 hours. And that's really annoying. So now I'm like super obsessed with them because they ignored me for 8 hours. That's like a narcissistic relationship.
Right. And listen, any girl who responds in that way, that is the calling card of a slut. Quite simply, Slight Game, to really put a bow on this question, is if the better you treat sluts, the worse they treat you. The better you treat traditional women, the better they treat you. That's how it works. You can't treat sluts well. You can't do it.
You can't be Genghis Khan. You have when it comes to traditional women, you have to show you can be Genghis Khan, but you can't just be Genghis Khan all the time. Like, if she says, "Where were you the other night?" and you're like, "Shut up, bitch," like, that's not going to work out for you, right? If you're dealing with a slut, that's gonna work.
Dude, dude, as soon as you say "shut up, bitch," dude, she'll be like, "Oh, let me suck your dick." Like, she'll be on her knees. She'll be on her knees before you even utter the last word, bitch. This is how sluts are.
You just insult her. You just dominate her. She loves it. But if you're dealing with a woman with any kind of degree of value, and you speak to her in that way over pretty much nothing, then you can't just blag it on dominance. Like, you need to be able to be dominant, but you also need to show that you can. It's like, I think the problem with a lot of red pill guys is they think, oh, it just needs to be dominant all the time. And yeah, you do need to be able to be dominant, but you can't just be dominant all the time. Like if you've any dude who's been in a long-term relationship, any guy who's been in a long-term relationship knows that there are many frequent moments in which his woman needs comfort. Like, she needs to, you can't just tell her she's a cunt. Like, you can't just like fucking dismiss her. You can't just pretend her needs don't matter, because if you do, if she's incredibly low self-esteem, she may put up with it for some period of time, but you guys aren't going to have a strong, happy family and go for. You're not going to last the course. You're not going to stay the course, right? And if you do stay the course, you're not going to stay the course very well. There's going to be problems in your family because you have a dysfunctional dynamic. Like, you can't treat cunty, horrible woman the same way you treat women of value.
Listen, women of value and slutty women, they are quite literally two different species. I mean, they might have the same anatomy, but it is a different animal in the way you treat them. He asked, this was actually a 4-part question, and I'm not going to get into all 4 parts, guys. If you're going to submit questions, just make it one question. Yeah, one question. Yeah, don't. I mean, listen, Sly Dame. What I'll do is I'll answer your question. I'll answer all the other 3 questions that you had. I guess I should have specified that, but yeah, when you guys ask questions via email, give me some context, because that always helps, but try to keep it to just one part, because there was a lot of different things. But I will ask the last question that he asked. And I think we both know the answer to this one. He says, how do you introduce the red pill to your friends without scaring him away? And the answer to that question is that you don't. Yes, you cannot. Listen, the red pill only goes down. Listen, the red pill is most effective for men who seek it out.
As a general piece of advice, don't try to help people.
No,
and that's not the same as don't help anyone. So trying to help people means you go out of your way, you try to find people who need help, and then you want to give them help, right? I'm saying don't do that. But if people seek you looking for help, then you can offer them help. You can offer them help
because they're showing you that they're ready to be helped.
Exactly. So provide help to people who are in a mental place where they're actually seeking help and are receptive to help. If someone isn't receptive to help and they're just living their shitty life or whatever, and they go to the fucking movies and they do a lot of drugs and alcohol, and they just have no meaning in their life and whatever, they're in this like consumerist fucking secular culture of just empty non-religious nihilism where they just buy things and everyone's just narcissistically dismissing one another and what the fuck ever, right? And you go up to one of these people and you're like, hey, I'm going to teach you about like the real dynamics of gender. Like, they don't give a shit. They'll just fuck off. Like, they don't care. Like, you could like bring them to the fucking Ark of the Covenant. You could like show them some like holy relic, and it could be like glowing in front of them, and they wouldn't give a shit.
Nope,
they don't care. Give a shit. They give no shits.
You see and hear this about this stuff all the time on TV, where people stage interventions for people who are drug addicts, and it never goes well because what they're doing is they're ambushing this person. Oh, you're a drug addict, you need help. We're going to check you into rehab, and the person never stays in rehab because they haven't hit rock bottom in their mind yet. The red pill, listen, the red pill is only effective for men who seek it out. If you sit down, hey, let me tell you, Steve, let me tell you something about the red pill. Have you ever heard of Rollo Tomasi? Have you ever heard of Return of Kings? You ever heard of Illimitable? No. And they'll sit there. They're going to do one of two things when you introduce your friends to the red pill. The first thing they'll do is they'll nod and agree. They'll say, oh, yeah, that's great, blah, 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 blah. And then they won't do shit about it. Or they'll tell you, you know what? You make some good points, but not all women are like that. Listen, don't introduce. I'm serious.
That's such a shit reputation. It's like, well, of course they're not all like that, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't take value from what you've heard.
Listen, of course they don't know. Yeah, listen, you have to consume the red. You have to consume the red pill to understand about that. Our next question comes from ISY Not. Says, "Good day, Donovan and I am. I read up on solipsism from Rollo and I am, but can't really grasp it. He asks, any tips on how to provoke and observe the solipsistic nature of women in real life?"
Basically, they never understand where you're coming from because everything is relative to
them.
their biases and perception. It's basically someone with a very shit conception of abstraction. So the abstract is things that are extrinsic of me, things that occur irrespective of me and have their own processes or personality or whatever. Solipsism is just saying, how I view the world is in relation to myself. So everything, like their behaviors or their like their thought processes, their behaviors, like just everything about them or it happens in relation to what I did or what I said. So instead of thinking, this person bought this business because they wanted to. This is a really shit example, by the way, but it does highlight the example.
I was going to say, yeah, I understand. I understand the point.
Right. So instead of this person bought this business because they felt like buying this business, it would be like they bought this business because of something I said to them. Like it's always like related to the individual, and they can't. And to add on to that, it's not just that. It's that they can't. It's almost like autism in a way. It's like they can't see people's individual intents for their behaviors. It's like whatever their intent is related. They see other people's intent as a reaction to their own behavior. Other people's intent as a reaction to their behavior. I think that's the best way I can see solipsism. So they only see it from their own point of view. They like if they contemplate anything, like even as someone who doesn't think very much, right? If they try to think and try to contemplate, they can't see it. Like they can't remove themselves from the equation. That always part of the equation.
Yeah, basically solipsism in my mind, and I can't put it as eloquently as you or Rollo, but the way I see solipsism is just extraordinarily selfish behavior mixed in with a little bit of narcissism. It is everything they think about is in relation to them. They never think about how their actions, their words, their thoughts affect other people but them. What's my point of view? How is this going to affect me? I am the most important. I am solipsistic. It's all about me. Yeah.
But here's the thing. They don't even have the self-awareness. Like a solipsistic person doesn't even have the self-awareness to know they're solipsistic.
Yeah, listen. It's like the old saying go, crazy people don't know they're crazy. Solipsistic girls don't know they're solipsistic.
Right. It's just, I guess it's self-centeredness. And even when they try to understand other things, it all somehow comes back to them.
Right.
Like they're not even doing it on purpose. They just not like as a philosophical concept, solipsism is the idea that nothing exists. It's like you only know your mind exists, so you don't know other minds exist. Like on a philosophical level.
Right. Okay. The only beings that deserve to be truly solipsistic are infants, because infants, babies, are the center of their own universe because they're not aware of anything but themselves and the people around them.
But babies don't even think. Like, well, what is like your earliest memory? You're maybe like 2, 3, 4 years old,
something like that. Yeah.
Like really young, and like kids don't have thoughts; they just do stuff. Yep.
You know what? That sounds about like women, to be quite honest with you. Gentlemen, you are listening to TSR Live with special guest Illimitable Man, the founder of IllimitableMen.com. You can follow him on Twitter at Illimitable Man. Definitely bookmark his website, illimitablemen.com, and I can't believe I've said your names without blah, 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 blah.
No, you're quite articulate. Illimitable is not an easy word for most people to say.
No, it's not. And listen, I tend to talk fast, so when I say illimitable man at illimitablemen.com, it's. But I mean, dude, I said
you're honing it right now. It sounds it's like music to my ears.
Straight up, hey, man, I'm here for you, man. I'm trying to be like you. Listen. I'm just Donovan Sharp. I just tried to make it as brainless as possible. Like I said, guys, submit your questions via chat. We're going to get to these as fast as we can. Let's keep the train going here. Arthur asks, question for Donovan and I am: is 24 years of age too early to start TRT? If yes,
no,
exactly. If yes,
well, hang on, and okay, I'll let you finish the question.
Okay, yeah, he said if yes, then what should men in their early 20s do about their low testosterone levels?
No, it's not age variable.
You gotta get yourself tested.
Right, let me put it this way: if you're 24 years old and you have low testosterone, all right, do you think your testosterone? Let's say your testosterone is like 200 nanograms per deciliter, which is shit. Your life probably, if your testosterone is 200 nanograms per deciliter, you probably want to kill yourself.
You're basically you're a woman.
Well, no, I mean, you have more testosterone than a woman, but a woman with one quarter of your testosterone feels better than you do because women are more androgen sensitive than men. Like,
Jeez, wow. Okay.
It's true. Like, women are more basically per gram. Women get more benefit from testosterone than men because it's not their dominant sex hormone. So it's like if you think of anything, like any substance, when you first, if it's not native to your body and you consume it, it has a stronger effect on you than something that is native to your body.
Yeah, like cocaine.
Right. Okay. So like cocaine, but but the same applies to, like, testosterone is native to, like, it's the natural sex steroid
of men,
sex hormone of a man's body. So men have greater tolerance to testosterone than women. Like a woman with a level of 200 nanograms per deciliter testosterone, which is not a natural level for a woman, by the way. So she's probably injecting if she's even at 200.
Yeah.
But a woman at 200 is going to be like some like super alpha crazy motherfucker, and a dude at 200 is just going to be like super soy. Even though they have the same. Yeah, because that's low for a guy, and that's like quadruple the level for a woman. So it's all about the threshold effect, right? So if we say like the upper limit for a woman is about 70 nanograms per deciliter, and that's really, that's like when you see some like Kellyanne Trump supporting raptor faced bitch, right? And she's probably a bit of a lesbian, probably wears strap-ons now and again.
Oh, watch yourself.
Fuck it. I don't give a shit.
No, but you're absolutely right. I think that the answer to that question is there's never. It really depends on your testosterone. No, it's not age. It's testosterone level. So the best thing to do is to get your testosterone levels checked, and it is the free testosterone. When IM talks about 200 nanograms per deciliters, that is free testosterone. So
well, I mean, so even if your total is 200, your free isn't going to be decent because your total. So I mean, you want to take total. You want to, like, even if you should check total and free. You want to check both. You want as much data as
results.
possible.
They'll definitely give you the results.
It depends where you live, though. I mean, like in the USA, if you're not super poor and you have a bit of money, you can. You can get the treatment you need. Whereas like in Canada and England, it's like fucking hard to get, like, even to get them to do the blood test in the first place. Like if you go, like, say you just go and see your doctor and you're like, okay, I want you to do this, this, and this. They'll be like, why? And you're right. Like, oh, because I feel like tired and depressed or whatever. And it'll just like, oh, just have an antidepressant. It's like, no.
Yeah, look, dude,
I don't need an antidepressant. That's not the
answer, man. Like, I fucking squat 450 is what I need.
Yeah, I need to fix my fucking hormones. I don't need your stupid antidepressant pills, motherfucker. Like,
so the short answer. Go ahead.
The short answer is that if you've gone through puberty, and at 24 you've gone through puberty, all right. If you're past puberty, and some people end puberty earlier than others. So I mean, the general kind of discrimination or heuristic or whatever you want to call it that doctors use is, if they're under 25, we won't treat them. But then on the flip side, if you're a tranny and you want to change sex, if you're a girl and you're 12 years old and you want to be a dude, they'll give you testosterone. But if you're a 24-year-old dude and you're not sure about your testosterone levels,
yeah, funny how that works, right?
Then it's like, okay, wait 2 years. It's like, well, if I was a 12-year-old girl, you give me testosterone now. You fuck me up way more than you could possibly fuck me up as a dude. A dude who wants testosterone just wants to be more of a dude, right? A chick who wants testosterone doesn't even want to be a chick anymore. And she could be 12. I mean, I think that's fucked up, to be honest, dude. But people get preoccupied with the age. If you've been through puberty, right? Because puberty, so your natural testosterone levels, regardless of who you are highest in puberty. That's the reason you go from like a 5 foot boy to like a 5'10" or 6 foot or whatever your height is guy, right? The testosterone drives your height, it drives your hair growth, it drives your muscularity. Like, men tend to be naturally more even if they don't weightlift or fight or do any kind of athletic activity, they tend to be more muscular than women. Men have natural higher upper body strength for no reason than women do, because of testosterone, because it's a natural androgen, right? So if you're not hairy and you're not very tall and you're not very muscular and you're 24 years old, I'd be very surprised if your testosterone comes back and says, you know what, you have 1,000 nanograms per deciliter. Like, I'm not buying it. Like, that's not gonna happen. Like, you know, nature is nature or the pollutants in the environment, whatever. You've been cheated, right? Like, basically, I'm trying to make it as simple as possible because I'm very passionate about this topic. Go and get your blood test. Go and get your blood test done. At 24, if it's less than 700, get on TRT. TRT is not going to fix you straight away, by the way. Like, you may feel good for like 2, 3, 4 weeks or whatever, and then feel shitty after you've been on it for like a month. Don't expect it to like instantly fix you, because when you're on TRT, there are things you need to monitor. So your blood can get too thick, and then you can feel shitty because your blood's too thick. So then you need to give blood. Like, you have to be very rigorous. If you go on TRT,
it's a very proactive thing. If you go on TRT, just like you said, you have got to donate blood. I do it once a quarter. So every 3 months, I donate blood. You know, I get free T-shirts and all that stuff. And also talk to your doctor about there's certain supplements that you can take, like HCG. To keep your balls the same size. There's also things like exemestane to keep you from getting gynomastia or is gynomastia? I don't know. It's just called gyno.
Gynecomastia.
Yeah, there you go. Gynecomastia.
Stops you getting man boobs.
Bitch tits, man boobs. So
bitch tits.
So no, 24 is not too early. It doesn't matter about the age. It matters about the testosterone level.
If you're past puberty, so let's say, I would say, guys with the least fortunate or the slowest genetics would probably end puberty at 19. I mean, personally, I was 6'2" at 15, right? So, but I tend to think puberty ends at 16 or 17, but some people end puberty slower. They end up about 19, right? 18, 19, maybe even 20, right? So it's like, you've got to let your body finish puberty.
Right. Yes. This is the big mistake that high school football players do when they start taking steroids, testosterone. Like, you're going to stunt your growth big time.
If you're like a 16-year-old soccer or American football player or whatever, basketball and whatever, and you're doing steroids, like that's a bad time to do it, because you're at your naturally highest testosterone levels anyway. And by taking these substances at that age, when your levels are highest, you're shutting your balls off when your balls are healthiest. Like, you're really fucking yourself. Like, you're gonna feel that forever. Like, that's gonna haunt you forever. And what you did at 15 is gonna be with you at 50. Like don't take steroids at 15. Don't do TRT at 15 unless you're like missing a testicle and you have a super low testosterone level and your puberty isn't properly progressing because you're just that disadvantaged. Like, that's the exception.
That's not most guys at 15. Most guys at 15, even in this like endocrine disrupting environment, have pretty decent testosterone levels, because the testosterone is what's driving their growth plates, is what's making them grow taller. It's the reason, like, why are men so much significantly taller than women on average? Like, why is the average woman, like, say, 5'4" or 5'6", and the average man is like 5'10" or 5'11"? Like what drives that growth difference? Testosterone, right? So even in the soy generation, this time of like endocrine disrupting soy and just dudes just generally being fucking soy balls. When guys can like eat like fucking shit and not work out when they're like 15 years old, and their T is so fucking high, and the hormones are just so on, like, not all guys, but enough guys, it's so on point that they get those extra inches of height, and there's that secondary sexual difference that should be there. Men and women are meant to be different. We're meant to be taller. We're meant to have bigger muscles. That's normal. If you don't have that, that's not normal. Like in the 80s, a 65-year-old guy would have a testosterone level of about 650, 700. I get dudes messaging me who are like 23 years old and they have a T level of like 450. That's fucked up, dude.
Yeah, it's that's indicative. That's indicative of the culture and all the soy and all that.
The environment, dude.
Yes,
it's the chemicals, like the plastic bottles, even the fucking water supply, all of it. It's full of endocrine disrupting. So endocrine disrupting means it disrupts your hormones, right? So, the water supply is not increasing your testosterone. It's harming your testosterone, and it's the same with foods. It's like your great grandfather who lived 100 years ago didn't have to worry about any of this shit. None of it. Like it wasn't even a thing for him.
Times have obviously definitely changed. That's why. Listen, this is why TRT is much more prevalent now than it's ever.
But I think it's going to become more prevalent.
Oh yeah, of course.
If I was an angel investor or a venture capitalist, and I was trying to look at future trends, like what will generate money, and what metric do I observe and try and extrapolate over time to understand. So it's like, will this go up or down over time? Like, so will more men use TRT in the next 30 years, or will fewer men use TRT in the next 30 years? And based upon this knowledge, how can I make money from this? Right now, TRT is kind of a fringe thing, but there are more men doing it now.
It'll become more common, dude. You can believe it. You can believe it.
But I mean, even if you look at, like, if you compare now to 10 years ago, more men are aware of it and do it now than were aware of it and did it 10 years ago. And the same as 20 years ago. And if you go back 50 years, probably nobody was on TRT like 50 years ago. Like nobody. Even though you could get testosterone and inject it like 50 years ago. The only people doing that were like super obsessed weightlifting guys who want to like bodybuilders who want to win a competition. They would be like the only guys who were doing like 50 years ago. And the natural guy would not be depressed and would not be fat. It would be, the average guy would be lean and wouldn't be depressed and would be like, if you look at like the history of humanity, do you think all these people like going to war had low T? Like, no, they were like fucking each other up, right?
Of course not. No, of course not.
The human male has changed significantly over the years, and it's not just the human male either. This whole low T thing isn't just affecting. I mean, it is affecting humans, but it's not only affecting humans. Like I know, for example, in British rivers, many of the male fish are developing female sex organs due to the estrogen in the water. How does the estrogen get in the water? Birth control pill. The birth control pill has an estrogen in it that is 100 times stronger than the natural estrogen that occurs in the human body. So it's feminizing the male fish. You've got male fish developing ovaries and shit. And that's on a fish, right? Obviously, a human is a stronger life form than a human, but it has an effect on humans as well, and it serves to lower testosterone levels. And that's just one source of testosterone lowering. It's not the sole source. It's like for example, when you touch a till receipt, the ink in the till receipt has an endocrine disruptor in it.
Shit.
When you breathe oxygen outside, it has xenoestrogens in it, like contaminants. You can't escape this. You can't get away from it. Like the whole chemical revolution, there are like tens of thousands of chemicals that are man-made that inadvertently serve as endocrine disruptors. Personally, I think the future for men will be external supplementation of androgens like testosterone. If you don't need testosterone replacement therapy, if you don't need external androgens, if you have a decent T level, if your T level is like 800, 900, 1,000 naturally, you're lucky. Like basically your body's very good at resisting all the bullshit in the environment, but the average man does not have these levels. Whereas if you went back, like say 50 or 60 years ago, the average man in his 20s would be like 800, 900, no problem. And that's just not true anymore. I get too many messages from guys who are like, they're not even 30. They're like 24, 25, 23, 22 years old. Now, my T level was like 350, 400, maybe 500 at a push. That is low for a guy in his 20s. That's really fucking low.
All right. Well, our next question comes from Jeremiah. I think this might be a troll question, but this is specifically for you, so you can tell here. He says, question for IM. On Reddit, he mentions how different drugs affected the DT. I have no idea what that means. And he talks about cocaine usage. I want to hear some wild IM cocaine stories.
Well, you're not going to get a cocaine story, but cocaine, as other substances do, can lower amygdala activity. And amygdala is the part of the brain that lowers your empathy. So there are substances that you can take that lower empathy, but and I would think, like,
what did he mean when he said DT? Like, what did that mean?
So he means dark triad.
Oh, dark triad. Gotcha.
Yeah, okay. Right. So he's just using an acronym.
Okay. Gotcha.
So basically, he's asking what substances can be. His real question is, what substances can one use to increase their psychopathy? Like, how do you reduce your empathy via substance ingestion?
Okay.
And then he references cocaine. There are there are hard drugs that can be taken that lower empathy, but it's for whatever the half-life of the drug or substance is, will lower empathy for that time. I don't think that I don't think you can live your life just taking drugs all the time.
Yeah, you can't do that. Like, you're either, like I said, just like you said, you're either dark triad or you're not. I've got a question here from Matt, and I think I saw it in the chat, but he submitted it about a little over an hour ago. He says, how do I become a high social status male in college without joining a fraternity?
Be super good fucking looking and muscular.
Yeah, right. Be super good looking. Listen, be super good looking, approach girls, and go to listen, you don't have to be a fraternity brother to go to parties. Or
be super funny. Super funny.
Right. Like I said, a man who's an A+ at one thing will if you have girls, and a man who's a B- at everything. That's how it works.
How much did Patrice O'Neill weigh? Like 400 pounds or something? That dude was so funny. No one gave a shit. He was 400 pounds. Like,
yeah, of course. And he fucked girls left and right. So yeah, the short answer to that, Matt, is to listen, learn red pill game. Lift weights. Approach girls. And in college, it's easy to approach girls. Go to the fraternity parties. Just do that kind of stuff. You have to mingle. You have to put yourself out there. You have to go to parties. You have to go to the football dorm. Whatever you have to do to put yourself around girls on a regular basis. And pretty soon they'll be like, oh yeah, there's Matt. I saw him at the fraternity house the other night. Or there's Matt. I saw him, hanging out with a couple of the guys from the football or the basketball team. That's how you can become a high status male.
If you're good looking, it won't really take too much. I mean, you have to do a few things, but it won't take too much effort. But if you're not good looking in your youth, when you're like 18 or whatever, then you're gonna need some kind of status, like become a DJ.
Yeah, listen, right, become a DJ, or just like you said, become funny. Whatever you do, you need to put yourself in position to be around girls all the time. Jeremiah, the same guy who asked the question about the cocaine, he says, question to IM, that you made a post on the red pill or TRP a while back about these chicks talking red pill about sex, and you said one chick talks about her boyfriend who fears you. Can you elaborate and why that chick's boyfriend was afraid of you at the time, aside from being 6'2" and probably jacked? Sounds like Jeremiah's got a man crush on you, dude. Sounds like you might want to suck your dick. Jesus. My God.
Honestly, I mean, I'm not saying he's lying, but I don't remember what he's specifically referring to, so I can't answer his question.
Yeah, dude, we get hate mail all the time, man. That's how it works.
I don't remember what the fuck he's talking about. I mean, I probably did post it on TV.
Yeah, okay. All right, well, moving on here, we've got a question from Prometheus. He says, talk about the latest schism in the red pill between the rational male and artful man, Stedman, etc. He wants the fucking dirt.
I mean, I don't get it. It's like, it's just ego.
That's
artful man. Artful man's an egotistical motherfucker. No,
to do this, you have to have it.
Even an artful man knows he's an egotistical motherfucker. He knows it. Like, it's just egotist. It's just egotistical.
All right.
There's nothing else to it. It's just pure ego.
Listen. The manosphere, it's all men. Like it's testosterone. Dude,
the manosphere's all men.
It's all men, dude. We're guys with big egos. We all have this testosterone, and my way is better. This is gonna happen. So if Prometheus is looking for you to slay Mud, and I'm not saying that he is, but I don't get into the whole. Well, what's the beef between Rollo Tanasi and Donovan Sharp? It doesn't matter. We have disagreements. We're men. We have a disagreement. We punch each other out. And we go have a fucking beer. End of discussion. We're not going to.
Well, I mean, that's how it should go. But on the
right, we're not.
It's like you hate each other for like 2 or 3 years because you can't like fight each other and get over it in like 2 hours. You have to.
Right.
Yeah, there's long drawn out bullshit. But no, I mean, it's obviously it's a difference in opinion and a disrespect in one another, but it's like it's just entertaining. It's not going to improve your life. It's like, oh, I'm bored on a Friday night. Oh, 2 people are having a fight on Twitter. Whatever. Oh
my God.
I'm going to get some fucking popcorn. Maybe order a burger or something. Like it's not. You're not going to learn anything from it. Like
no.
It's just disrespecting.
And talking about it is stupid. Like, dude, this ain't fucking. We're not chicks, man. Like, get out of here with that. Like, tell me the latest beef between Gay Lube Oil and get out of here with that. Like, are you kidding me with that? Oh, come on.
It's just ego, though. Like, dude, it doesn't even matter who wins. It doesn't even matter who wins because it's like.
And you want to know something? There is no schism in the red pill. We're all on the same side. There may be different sects and different factions of the red pill, but at the end of the day, we're all on the same side. That's what it comes down to. We'll have disagreements here and there, but that doesn't mean that there is a schism in the red pill. That's you're over characterizing it there, Prometheus. So that's the answer to that one.
I think that Rollo would have been better off ignoring Artful because, I mean, I don't give a shit. I didn't give a fuck.
I didn't even know about it. I didn't even know about it until I just read the question.
Well, I mean, I'm not. I don't even read their interactions, but someone sent me. Someone DM'd me yesterday, and I'm like, "What do you think of this?" And I'm just like,
"Oh my God, dude!"
I know. It's
like what? Like honestly, like are we in fucking middle school here? Like are we in high school? Like get out of here with that, man. Like honestly, I got better things to do with my time than to talk about the beef between. Oh, get out of here. Moving on. I don't want to talk about
I kind of feel like we're in a hip hop community talking about beefs. You know?
Oh yeah, right.
It's like why do the Game and 50 Cent not like each other? Like, is he going to release a diss track? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, it doesn't. And the answer to that question is it doesn't matter. Everybody, the red, like I said, we're all on the same side here. So.
Nobody gives a shit. Yeah, I mean, I want to address the schism thing. There are different. Not everyone who is in a red pill community has the same approach to life. So there are people who want to bring up a traditional family, and then there are like these like polyandrous, just like I want to fuck a bunch of bitches. I want to fuck like 5 chicks in 1 week and they all love me and I'm not committed to any of them. There's that. And then there's like the men going their own way. It's like bitches ain't shit and I don't trust any of them and they're all going to divorce me and steal my money even though I'm not super rich. And, you've got all these different approaches and men take the approach that they think is best suited to them. Like if you've been divorced before, if you've lost a house before, and you've lost a bunch of assets and shit, like if you've been divorce raped, you're probably going to be inclined to be a man going his own way or whatever, because it's like you're so traumatized from losing all your shit, you don't want to lose your shit again. And even if you find a really like decent woman who has no intent or desire to steal your shit, it's like you're so traumatized from the bitch who did steal your shit. You're like, nah, fuck that. I like the shit I've regained, and I don't want to lose that shit.
Right.
So I'm going to do this. And then you've got like the super horny guys, they just like wake up with a super hard dick. They just walk around all day with a super hard dick. They're just horny all the fucking time. Those guys, and they're not, they're just so horny, and they're not, it's more animalistic than intellectual. Those guys, they're just like, I just want to fuck a bunch of bitches.
Well, actually, I've got an answer here for you. Rollo actually typed into the chat. He says, "Artful is a secret king trying to make a name for himself." Listen.
I know what he's trying to say. He's saying what he's trying to say is the reason Artful is beefing with him is because he's trying to increase.
He wants to increase his profile. Yes, and look, to take it back to the rap game, you got different guys in the rap game. They'll go after Jay-Z, or they'll do a diss track about.
If you followed hip hop / rap for a long time, like let's say like 10, 15 years.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember when 50 Cent went after Ja Rule? Like nobody knows Ja Rule. Yeah, right. It's like that. When 50 Cent a diss to Ja Rule and he won.
Yeah,
that was like
right, and it doesn't. Listen, if you're a little guy who wants to start a beef with a big guy, if the big guy, listen, just like Rolla said, he's a secret king trying to make a name for himself.
Secret king.
Yeah, right. He says, I
love that shit.
He says he'll always lock horns with any purple pill coach distorting the red pill for their business purposes. At the same time, men who really need help men who really need help. Yeah, basically
it's just ego, dude. It's just it's unnecessary.
Listen, he says the only schism that exists in the sphere is purple pill coaches watering down the red pill for the sake of their wives, influencing their message. I agree. Listen, bro, there is no purple pill, man. You are either red pill or you're blue pill. There's no in between, homie. That's how it works.
Purple pill's like you accept some aspects of the red pill, but not all of them. So you retain a lot of bullshit in your belief system.
Well, you know what I say to that? Purple is closer to blue than red.
It's Mark Manson.
Oh God, yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, but it's like dude, it's like my whole following, or like everything I built, like if you go through my history, like everything I've built and created, it has not been off the backs of just like fighting and attacking people who are bigger than I am and trying to steal some of their followers because they've replied to me, so now I've associated myself with this person and now I'm relevant, so I'm going to steal.
And then they'll get on their weak little podcast. Well, I tweeted to Illimitable Man the other day, and it appears that I got under and ruffled his feathers, dude. Fuck you. Get out of here.
You go back through my Twitter for years, and I've spoken a lot of shit, but I've never I haven't attached myself to people with greater followings than I have, and stolen or acquired some of their followers via beef. Like everything I have is via providing value. And the reason I'm saying this is because I think the most legitimate way to grow your brand, your following, is to provide value, help people.
Solid content and solid information. That's how
exactly.
You do it, man.
Don't try and grow your following through bullshit, through beef and through fighting, and I humiliated this guy and I look better than him, so follow me, and he's a fucking stupid retard. Like, no, if you really want to have substance and essence to what you do, try and provide fucking value. You try and help people, try and make them aware of something they would not be previously aware of. Teach them how to do something they couldn't otherwise do. Provide fucking value.
I think that's reverse parroting. You know, even if you're talking like parroting, that means you're just taking something that you agree with what somebody else said and make it your own. Well, reverse parroting is saying, well, Rollo Tomasi said XYZ and he's full of shit, but then they never tell them why. Even if they did have a response to that, you're basing all of your content and all of your information based on what somebody else said. You can't come up with an original thought of your own. So you are trying to become this king, but right now you're a secret king, like Rollo says, and trying to increase your profile and make a name for yourself. So fuck that guy. Fuck that guy.
I mean, I think Rollo's the real unassailable secret king.
Oh, yeah,
it's not even a secret. It's
people know about him, dude. Yeah, Rollo's the man, dude.
Rollo's made his name and made his mark, and I think it's you can beefing the beef. It's just stupid. It's like you're beefing with someone who's generated so much value that you just look stupid beefing with them.
Right.
It's like, why would you hate someone who's produced a lot of value? Like that's not a smart move.
Listen, if you're in the red pill community and you're a man and you're beefing with another man, dude, you're a like if you're a man in the red pill community and you start some sort of fight with another red pill guy, you're a fucking loser, man. Like we're all on the same side here. Enough of that bullshit.
It's just ego. It's just egos, man.
Okay, got a good question here. I got a good question here from Alex Garcia. It says, and this is a good question because Alex he's a regular viewer and listener of mine. He says, I've read multiple books on pickup and even a course. I had much success with women when I was able to guarantee hooking up whenever I felt like it, mostly 6s and 7s. This was when my social circle was strong, went to parties every weekend. My situation and social circle has changed. Friends turned beta and refused to go out. Since then, since that change, I feel like I've lost my power of attracting girls and the abundance mindset.
Why?
I am sexually frustrated and haven't been able to attract girls since. Very rare. What do you recommend? I'm in good shape and making good money and in college. Although since the loss of my social circle, I feel like the girls went with it. What do you recommend for getting back in my game? I'm in college, by the way.
I don't know. I don't understand what the problem is. It sounds like he was relying on his social circle to feed him new.
Yes.
New women.
Not only that. I think what maybe he might be alluding to is the fact that it's much easier to talk to girls when you are in a social circle. Like when you're out with your boys,
when they kind of know you, as opposed to just cold approaching.
Right. Listen, cold approaching when you're out by yourself is incredibly difficult. You've got to have balls, you have to have iron fucking will, and you've got to have immovable frame. It is much easier to build attraction. Like if you're with your group of homeboys and then she's with her group of girls, it's a lot easier for the interaction to flow. But if you see a girl like by a slot machine or if you see her at a bar, it is much more challenging to
tell you're from Vegas. Slot machines.
Yes, I always make that. I always make that distinction. But yeah, it's always much more difficult to approach girls and to build attraction when you have the social circle and the social environment sort of lubricating the action than it is going one-on-one. If you can pick up girls one-on-one, you're a fucking god, man, because it's not easy. What I would recommend, Alex, is that at some point, if you absolutely feel like you have to have a social circle, and that's fine, if you build your social circle, it's going to have to be with like-minded men. You're going to have to make friends. You're going to have to make friends with red pill guys.
He said that his friends became blue pill, or whatever. What I would say is maybe he developed more to the point that he couldn't stand his friends.
Right. Or that his friends couldn't stand him. And I talk about this a lot. When you take the red pill and you're living the red pill life, you'll quickly figure out which one of your friends are red pill.
If you want friends, don't try to understand the truth behind things. You're gonna lose friends doing that.
I agree.
Like if number of friends is the most important thing to you, don't try to understand the truth behind anything, because you're going to lose friends. You will lose friends. It's like, most people do not give a shit about what is true or representative or whatever. They don't care about that. They care about what is powerful and what is popular. If you're saying, like, if you say negative things about women, even or believe negative things about women, and your behavior changes because of it, because it's true, because the average guy doesn't see any negatives in women and only sees the positives, because women as a whole are pretty good looking and seem quite personable, then it's not.
Yeah, I mean,
things aren't going to work out well for you.
Right.
It's not going to work out well for you, and you shouldn't expect it to. Is like the truth is not correlated with success. There's a curve, right? So it's like it's like success is not linear. It's like you learn the truth, and your success. So say you were ignorant and your success was fairly good, and then you learned the truth, and your success diminished, and then you had like a what do you call it? No, not a cliff, like a valley, right? Okay. So you have like a valley, right? So like the space between two cliffs. So you're in a valley, right? And you're in this like shitty fucking area. You're in an all-time low or whatever, because you're trying to process the information and adjust your attitude in relation to the information you've learned. While you're in that valley, the people who you knew who are as ignorant as you used to be, they're not going to join you in your valley.
No, they're not. They're not.
They're not going to. All of a sudden, they don't want to meet up with you. Oh, dude, you're too serious. Oh, you're not as fun as you used to be. Whatever. Like they don't care. It's a lonely, like discovering and internalizing the truth. It's a lonely process.
It's a lonely process, and it can be a very lonely existence. I've talked about this ad nauseum in multiple podcasts. Red pill truth is great, and living the red pill life is great. But one of the drawbacks and one of the side effects to this is that you're going to be isolated a lot of times, because dudes aren't going to want to be around you. And it's not because they don't want to be around you. A lot of times it's because their girlfriends or wives don't want them to be around you. They don't want you to see the truth.
Other people, your friends' girlfriends will hate you.
Oh my god, dude! Listen, I lost one. I literally in the past few months, I lost one of my best friends because, well, it was my fault. His wife and him and his wife.
But she fucking hated you, didn't she?
Oh, dude, him and his wife came to
She's like, Donovan's showing him the light. No, can't let him see the light. Like,
listen,
no,
check this out. Him and her used to come to Vegas every summer for like the last 5 or 6 years, because he was my best friend in college. And so and she hated me, but she'd come out there because we were best friends. Well, the last time we came out there, I took him out. We went to a strip club, got a couple of blow jobs, did fucking blow, drank ourselves into oblivion, and this idiot ended up there was no way she could have found out. This idiot ended up telling her what we got up to. I haven't heard from him since. She made him change his number. She's got a keylogger on his phone. He's gone.
I mean, she feels good because she's like secured her territory. She secured her man or whatever. Yeah, but here's the thing: when a woman wins, she loses.
Absolutely, that's right.
If a woman conquers you out of insecurity, she fucking hates you.
That's right. That is exactly.
She fucking hates you. She's like, I won, and I'm a woman, and I want a leader. I want a guy who dominates me, and this guy's not dominating me because I won. Like when she wins, she loses. Like this, like that, like that's like the weird psychology. It's like when a woman wins, a woman loses.
Listen,
if women conquer, they're not happy. It's like I won. Like
listen, this is 100% truth. Red pill 101. A woman every step of the way will try to change who you are, not knowing that if you become who she wants you to be, you will become who she doesn't want you to be. Women build men into what, and I'm taking this from you, I am. In dominance and submission, I think you said something to the effect of women will build a man into something that she will come to hate. Men will build women into something that he will come to love. This is what happens, and unfortunately,
and they don't do it on purpose. They
don't. This is just a woman's nature. This is what they do. This is what they're designed to do.
Women aren't only undermining you; they're undermining their own desires.
That's right.
Right. So they try and make you a little bitch, right? As an instinct, and they're not. No,
they don't think about it. It's subconscious.
She's not like fucking Jedi Master Yoda, like levitating, like, how do I make this guy a bitch? right? It's not like a premeditated, contemplated fucking thing. It's not an active thought.
Dude, it's blind instinct is what it is.
Yeah, exactly. It's blind instinct. It's like, how do I make this guy? It's like, how do I make this guy a bitch? But I'm not even asking myself. Like, I'm just performing actions and saying things that would try to make him a bitch. And then if he becomes a bitch and I win, I don't like him anymore. And I don't realize why I don't like him anymore. But I'm the reason he is this way, and he wasn't resistant enough to my mechanisms. I can't put it in a simpler way than that. Like, it's so perverse. It's like, imagine trying to accidentally sabotage. Like, it's like I was saying, men don't try to create women that they don't like. Right. So a man is not like, you know what, I don't like women who are super slutty and disrespect me, so I'm going to behave in a way that adjusts my woman's behavior so she's super disrespectful and
fucks everybody. And right.
Men don't do this. Men are like, what type of woman do I like? I like a woman that's submissive. I like a woman who respects me. I'm going to behave and treat her in a way that makes her submissive and makes her respectful to me. That's how. And this is how a man would consciously think if he wasn't a total bitch, right? But a woman is like, a woman just doesn't seem to have any kind of like conscious thought whatsoever, and just behaves in just like fucking spontaneous fucking ways that test a man's character. It's like a constant.
It's like a constant shit test.
Yeah, it's a constant it's like feminism, which is the macro version of it. It's like a constant subconscious shit test. It's like, if you fall for feminism, your whole society loses. You just lose, right? Like, if you're in like ancient Egypt and the women are like, oh, feminism, like, oh, you're like, you don't let us do this. It's like, shut up, bitch, right? And then you just fuck her really hard, and that's it. Like, that's the end of it. Right, but if you take it seriously and you introduce it into your legal legislation and you make a system out of it and whatever, before you know it, they're inviting hyper-aggressive dumb dudes from third world countries to come and live with you, to come and live in your nation, who don't care about your nation, who don't like you, who are going to fuck your woman. Because they are the men those women truly want. Like, it's fucking perverse. It's perverse, dude. It's perverse, dude.
Listen, I tweeted out the other day, you might have seen it. Women don't need the men they don't want. They don't want the men they need. That's how perverse this is.
They don't need the men they want. I don't want that. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I think that's correct. Yeah.
The short answer to your question, Alex, is, and I'm going to address Alex. I'll probably send him back a response, but I think what Alex is probably having a little bit of trouble with is he's got a little bit of approach anxiety, and approach anxiety is almost non-existent when
maybe he just needs
circle.
Maybe men tend to be less flexible than women in terms of like joints and not being stiff, so maybe he just needs to join a yoga class which is predominantly women, and has the legitimate. So, okay, you're a man in a yoga class, what are you doing here? Well, I'm stiff when I work out, so I want to be less stiff, right? And that's there's a high chance that's true. Most men are not flexible people. Men are just not flexible. Like, if like men are far stronger than women, but women are far more flexible than men. Like a woman can like arch her body far more flexibly than the man can.
Right.
It's due to like the muscle fibers or whatever. It's like men have more fast twitch muscle fibers and women have more slow twitch.
Yeah, Alex, if you're still listening, I'll personally respond back to you because I've got your email address. I've actually got one more email question, and then I'll get to the chat questions here. But Nastri Tarleton, he's another regular listener of mine. He says, do black men have to game in a special way when it comes to trying to land traditional white or Asian women? Also, any advice on trying to seduce older white women as a 20-year-old?
Just don't be a piece of shit.
There you go. Listen, and I've addressed this in podcasts and articles. Just don't be the stereotypical black.
And by the way, it doesn't matter that you're black. By the way,
no, it doesn't.
White. You could be white or it doesn't matter. Like if you said I'm a German, Aryan, blonde, blue-eyed, white guy. How do I get traditional up to tell the same shit? Don't be a piece of shit. Like, care about the woman that you're gonna fucking commit to. Like you got to care about that shit.
Listen,
you can't create anything with someone you don't fucking give a shit about. It doesn't work.
I agree, and I agree with IM in that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what your skin tone or skin tone is or what your race is. It does play a factor when you do approach them. But game conquers all. Yeah, she'll have her preconceived notions, whether they're true or not doesn't matter. But as long as you have
prove her wrong.
All right, as long as you have the game and as long as you know how to handle her and you're masculine and you can lead her, it doesn't matter what your skin tone is. This is why I've had success. Dude, I've had success with more fucking white girls and Mexicans than any. I mean, and it has nothing.
Dude, they're black men do not have a good reputation. Nobody's gonna fucking lie about that. But there are some very decent black men out there, and if you're a black man and you're not stupid and you care and you try your hardest and you're kind of smart, you can do well. You can and you're masculine, you can have any woman. You can.
I agree.
That's how it is. It's like, yeah, okay, maybe the variables aren't on your side. It doesn't matter, right? Do you know how many dudes are just total bitches? This is like
most of them.
If you're a dude and you're not a bitch, and it doesn't matter what race you are. If you're a dude and you're not a bitch, this is the best time to be alive. The best time. Because women viscerally respond to masculinity more than anything.
Listen, I've coined red pill aware men 5%ers because 5%ers we are men who not only have red pill awareness and red pill knowledge, we put this into practice in our everyday. Listen, 50% of men have red pill knowledge. It really comes down to whether or not you're afraid to put that knowledge into action. Like the average beta bitch boy out there, dude, he knows bitches ain't.
You know what? I feel like the reason black dudes look so much outside their race is because black bitches are fucking horrible.
Oh well, yes,
they're horrible. I mean, they're so horrible. It's like they just want to fight, and they just want to beef all the time. It's like an infinite artful man Rodo Tomasi Twitter fight forever. It's exactly that.
I swear, Secret King. I love that Secret King. That was well played.
Like I swear, dude, they just want to fight all the time, and it's like, why? What is wrong? What is wrong with you?
I don't know. I don't know, and I don't care. Like, I'll do videos and shit about them, and I get all kinds of hate mail from them. But you know, they think I actually.
You're just troll black bitches. So like,
dude, I'll troll those bitches till the day I die.
Here's a picture of me and my white girlfriend. Fuck you.
Dude. Yeah, right. Like they've seen her. Like they've seen what she looks like, and nigga, you ain't shit. I'm like, dude, keep them coming. I'll just make fun of you on my hate mail segment in next week's show.
I feel sorry for black women. I feel sorry for them, but like I kind of hate on them because they're annoying. But I don't hate them like I'm jealous. I hate them like, why are you so retarded?
Listen, I feel sorry for black women in that that must be a miserable existence for them.
Dude.
I feel sorry for them, but that's really where it is. I feel sorry.
They need to fix their shit. But like black women just need to just renounce being combative, fucking let's have a fight, fuck you nigga kind of women, and they need to just stop being so disagreeable. Well, you know what? Just be like, you know what? I'm going to suck your dick. I'm going to make you a good meal, and I'm going to treat you well. I'm going to make you your favorite fucking food, and I'm going to take care of your children. And if you don't cheat on me and you bring the money in, I'll be good to you. Like black women are dumb. Black women don't know how to be women. If they knew how to be women, they wouldn't do this dumb shit. They would know the prejudices and the instincts of men, and they respond accordingly. Instead, they're trying to fight men. Like they've got this big issue, and that's why they're losing. That's why in America, so many black women are single fucking mothers because nobody wants to put up with them.
Listen, check this out. You can thank Tyler Perry, Iyanla Van Zant, and Oprah Winfrey and Steve Harvey really for the crippling of black women.
Steve Harvey's a traitor. It's like
he's just like
Yeah.
Hey, listen, he's funny on Family Feud, but on his daily show, like his talk show, he fills these fucking women's heads up full. He fills it up with fucking bullshit. Listen, I've got a question here from Cuckboy. It says,
"What Cuckboy?
Yeah, Cuckboy. Listen. It's spelled BOI. So he says, "quote I've dismantled my friend group through manipulation, and now there is a bit of a power vacuum. What are some ways I can become the main leader of the group?"
He dismantled
the friend group through manipulation, and now there's a bit of a power. I think that's a troll question. Let's move on. I don't think. I don't know.
That doesn't sound legit.
Stupid. Shivers 515 asks, "Why do women prefer altruistic love over sexual love?" That's a good question.
Well, because it's not difficult for a man to like a woman sexually, but it takes more for a man to like a woman non-sexually. And what is altruism? Well, altruism is
it's generosity.
Okay, you have a nice ass and titties and face and whatever, right? But irrespective of that, I still like you as a fucking human being. And I want to help you and I want to take care of you because I like you. Because of your personality, because of your non-sexual characteristics.
And I would actually add to that. I agree with that 100%, because the average woman, even if she's half decent looking, she gets sexual attention from men all the time. But what they rarely get, just like you said, is that altruistic love. Very few men ever get to know her and love her for her. She can get sexual attention anytime, anywhere, but she wants that man who loves her not just for her ass or her titties or her face, but a man who actually likes her as a person and wants to take care of her because he likes her. And that's the main reason why women prefer altruistic love, is because it's not something they get all the time. Unlike sexual they get
love is hard, dude. Love is hard. Everyone's scared. Everyone's scared. Everyone.
All right,
Men, women, they're all scared.
Listen, Dude Watt 212 says, "How does reading Aristotle and philosophy improve your sexual market value?"
It doesn't.
Yeah, I didn't think so. Either.
It doesn't. You hang on. This dude needs to realize that not everything in life revolves around improving your sexual market value. So you learn, like, if you're reading Aristotle and Plato and ancient Greek philosophers, you don't do that because you want to be more sexually appealing. You do that because you have an intellectually curious mind and you want to be less of a dumb motherfucker. Like that's why you read this shit. Like, if it's all about sex for you, why are you reading it? My question back to him is, did you learn anything from reading Aristotle and Plato? And if you did, why did you posit such a stupid fucking question? That's what I want to fucking know. Like, come on. Aristotle and Plato do not claim that anything they say is related to sex or improving your success with women. Come on, dude. You're better than that. You're more than your dick, dude. Just I just feel like I'm upset with my son right now. It's just like, if my son comes up to me, he's like, "Dad, you told me to read a bunch of philosophy and I didn't get me laid. Why did you make me read it?" I just probably just not talk to him for like 2 months. It's like, can you not see the value in it in and of itself? Dumb people don't tend to read philosophy, and only a dumb person is going to read philosophy, thinking that it can make them more sexually successful. Like, that dude. I just feel like we're being trolled. Honestly,
yeah, I think you probably were trolled. This actually reminds me of a story that I told. Me and my buddies went to the singles meet at the top, and I think it was called LDL. It was right across the street from the MGM Grand. Anyway, he was talking to these girls. And he was trying to talk to them about like Leo Tolstoy, and he comes back. He's like, "I don't know." I think they're digging me. And the girl that was with one of my buddies walked over to him and said, "Dude, the reason they're not into you is because you're fucking boring them. Like, when girls come to Vegas, they want to get drunk and get laid." He said, "So take your ass out, stick it in her ass, and quit talking about books and shit." I mean, like, I can't stand I'm smarter than you guy, and me reading philosophy is going to get me laid guy. That's not going to get you laid. Just like you said, the only reason you should be reading philosophy is if you have an intellectually curious mind, and even if you do, right? Even if you know everything about everything, do you think the average woman wants to talk to you about that? Get out of here with that.
If your woman cares about that, you're lucky. It means basically, say you've read philosophy, and we'll define philosophy as ancient Greek philosophy. If your woman cares about the things you've read, she's probably kind of smart. Like, she's open-minded and kind of smart. She's not representative of most women. Like, your woman is a nerd. She's like a nerd amongst women. Right. Most women could not give a fucking shit.
Oh my god, dude!
Women are not generally intellectual. They're not.
Even if they wanted to be, even if they really truly had the desire to be, they can't do it, dude. Like, listen, and this isn't to say that women are completely stupid. I talked about this. I think it might have been yesterday. Women do have they have more social intelligence than we do a lot of times, but just as a matter of survival.
The less logical and anxious you are, the higher your social intelligence.
Oh, there you go.
Like that's an inverse correlation. So if you have like no logic and you're very low in anxiety, the byproduct of that is you're very socially competent. And women tend to be more extroverted than men and tend to be less logical than men.
Right. Oh, yeah. Well, yes. Yeah, logic is not a strong suit of women, to be sure.
But I'm kind of racist. Like, I wouldn't have a girlfriend who could not exercise. I mean, I don't expect her to be as logical as I am because I know she has estrogen in her system. Sure. But I expect her to have a capacity for logic. Like, I need a smart bitch. Like, if she's not smart, I'm literally not interested.
Well, check this out. You're a better man than me because don't get me wrong. I don't want my woman to be as dumb as dude. I dated this one girl. Oh my god.
Dude, if you have kids with her and she's dumb as fuck, how are your kids gonna be? What are they gonna be like? Fucking sucking their thumbs age 10, trying to solve a Rubik's cube. Like,
well, listen, man. Like, nobody said anything about having kids with her. I'm just trying to fuck the bitch, but.
But I mean, it's not a one-night stand, right? Like, if you're with a girl for X number of years and you have a little bit of ego to you, like, well, I want a legacy in the world, and who am I going to create a child with because I want a legacy? And try and pick the best woman possible, right?
Well, yes, yeah, well, of course. Like, my main chick, she's not dumb. Okay, like I've dated chicks. I dated this one girl down in Vegas. She's fucking smoke show. She's a fucking 10 and this and that and the other, and she's beautiful and this and that and the other. Moron. Oh my god, dude! I had to sit there and explain to her how the government worked because she wanted like her.
Oh, dude, fuck that.
Listen. She asked me. This was funny. Like, we were watching something on TV, and she's like, why don't they? Why do these people in these third world countries, like, where are the cops? Where are the stoplights?
Because
she's a moron. Listen, she didn't understand the role of government. I had to walk her through it. I said, okay, who, like, if I said, no, listen, check this out. So I said, it dawned on me. I said this. I said, okay, if you go out in your car and you speed, what's going to happen? She says, I'm going to get pulled over. I said, okay, who's going to pull you over? She said, police officers. I said, right. I said, do you think police officers work for free? She's like, well, of course not. I said, right. And who do you think pays the police officers? Yeah. And she said, the city. And you can see her starting to put two and two together. I said, okay, where does the city get money from? And then her eyes got wide. Oh, taxpayer. Right. Like, she didn't understand. Like, I had to walk her through it. I'm not going to make that kind of girl my main chick for an extended period.
Fuck my mate.
So just so you know, I'm not trying to listen. I'll fuck dumb bitches. I'm not gonna wife them up. I'm not gonna make dumb bitches my main chick for an extended period of time. I fucked with her for 8 months. She was my quasi main chick.
That's quite a long time, dude. Yeah, 8 months. That's decent.
It is.
But
It is,
you don't want babies with a dumb bitch because
no, I don't want babies. No,
I mean, how are you gonna feel with, like, even if you want kids, how are you gonna feel if your kids are retards because the mum was a retard and she lowered the IQ potential of your children because she's a fucking moron? I mean,
yeah. Listen, there was absolutely no baby talk. Listen, I gotta.
There's enough dumb people in the world already. We don't need to make more dumb people.
No, we do not. We do not need more than that. Listen, I got an update on the question from Demetrius about the dark triad. He said about the dark triad test. He says, "Thanks for answering my question. There is truly no offense taken. This is taken. This is school for me. Allow me to clarify a little bit more." He says, "I've always been an asshole and will do what I need to get what I want. That's just what I figured was natural to me. It wasn't until after discovering the red pill that I understand that there's an actual term for it called dark triad. I found IM's site and learned a lot more about it. I took the test because it was linked to his site, and I learned that I test high. So similar IM's analogy of the predator. If I know I'm a hunter and can't catch a little here and there, how do I apply it to be the best hunter and catch every fucking thing?
Predator doesn't need to be taught how to prey.
Yeah, it's instinct, right?
That was my whole point originally. Like, if you're a predator, predators don't need to be taught how to prey. They're predatorial. It's in the blood. It's their instinct. Like, it doesn't need to be taught.
Even domesticated cats.
I think this is a guy who thinks he's predatorial based on a test. He clicked on my site and got the answers he wanted to receive based upon what he put into the test. That isn't true. Because if it was true, he wouldn't be asking this. Trust me, dude. Dude, Dimitri, let me tell you, I've been some very fucked up people, right? I think some incredibly fucked up people. They would not be asking the questions you're asking. You're not a psychopath. You want to be. You're not. You're not a psychopath. You want to be a psychopath. You're not a psychopath. And then I'm not trying to insult you, by the way. Right? Most people aren't psychopaths. Right? It's like 2-3% of the population at a push are psychopathic. Right? If you were a psychopath, you would not be asking these questions. It's like.
Let me ask you this: is it possible for a person who is not dark triad to have maybe like a sprinkle of a dark triad trait? I mean, is that possible, or is it either you're in or out?
If you're in a fucking bad mood and maybe you're consuming substances that are conducive to that kind of mindset, perhaps for a period of time, but it's not who you are. So that, like, for example, like, let me put it this way. It's like marijuana, right? It's not, it tends to open people's minds and make them more
like introspective.
Yeah, but it makes them more open to outside ideas. Like, if like, say, like 10,000 men are on marijuana, are you particularly afraid of those 10,000 men? Like, if you know there's 10,000 men, and let's say they're in a city. Let's say you're in one city. All right, let's say there's like a civil war, right?
Okay.
And you live in your city, and there's a city next to your city. Like, maybe it's like, I don't know, 60 miles away, right? And they're not on the same side of the conflict as you are, but they're all on marijuana. Are you particularly afraid they're going to invade you from their city 60 miles away? When they're on weed? They're on weed. They're on fucking weed. They probably don't want, they're going to find it difficult and have to get down to the supermarket,
right,
and buy some fucking potato chips, right? Like, they're not going to invade you, right? But if there's a city 60 miles away and they're all on cocaine, these motherfuckers probably want to invade you. There's different psychostimulatory effects from specific substances. However, a substance does not change your essence. It alters your state for the duration of its effect.
Cocaine wears off very quickly relative to
cocaine has a stupidly short, low half-life. It doesn't last very long.
No, it does not.
So I don't know. I think this Dimitri guy wants to be like, what's that guy's name? Tony Montana. he wants
Say hello to my love friend.
He wants to be Tony Montana, and he's like, I read your blog, and I got if you had high-end traits and you didn't like tell, answer the questionnaire truthfully. Don't tell it what you think you should tell it to get what you want to be told. So if you want a test to say, hey, I'm a psycho and whatever, you're going to fill in answers that aren't actually truthfully indicative of who you are as a person.
It's almost like a reverse confirmation bias.
So, right. You could be like a guy called Bert. You could be a guy called Bert who volunteers for charity and is a virgin at 25.
Oui.
Right? And let's put an extreme example, right?
Sure.
But let's say you're Bert and you're a 25-year-old virgin, right? And you take a dark triad test. But I'm not trying to say this guy is that, but I'm trying to give an extreme example to highlight my meaning.
No, I got you.
If you take this test and you think, oh, okay, well, this is like, what would a predator say? And you fill in the answers based upon what you think a predator would say, rather than a truthful assessment of who you are, right? So, and you fill it in based on that basis, and then it gives you a sum of results. And then you think these sum of results represent you as an individual, but they don't. The sum of results, the results from the test you've taken represent what you fed into it, not who you are. Because you told the information you fed to the questionnaire is what you think would make you seem the way you want to seem, rather than the way you actually are. Like I'm very serious in what I'm saying. If you're high in dark triad traits, you would not be asking these questions. And I can say this very confidently because I've spoken to guys. I've spoken to a few guys that are very high in dark triad traits, and they don't ask these questions. They don't need to ask these questions. They don't need to learn anything. There's nothing to learn. They already have the ability. It's not something you can learn. You don't learn it. You either are. It's like, I can't teach you to be 135 IQ. You're either 135 IQ
or you're not. Right.
I can't make you smart. You can be dumb and read stuff and struggle to understand it, but you're never going to be smart. And I don't take pleasure in saying that.
Yeah, but it is what it is, though.
It's like you're either naturally attractive, you're naturally smart, or you're naturally dark triad. No one can make you smart. You can leverage whatever intelligence you have and be less negligent and less ignorant. And you can try harder, and you can try to leverage and utilize the intelligence you do have to the most of, like, to the best of its capacity, right? Or if say you're not super attractive, well, you can improve your looks by grooming and by keeping clean and doing the best as you can, but you're never going to be a supermodel, right? So that's intelligence and looks. And then with dark triad, it's like, well, you may naturally be a kind of like cold, detached guy, but and I can teach you to. I can say, hey, meditate and try and be stoic and whatever. But you're still not going to be a super detached guy. Like these what people aren't willing to come to terms with is that nature is not egalitarian. Nature doesn't care.
No, it does not give a shit.
Nature makes you ruthless or smart or hot. I was like hot as in super attractive, and that's it. Yeah, and you can try and minimize the gap. Maybe you can shorten the gap a bit, but you can't become the best. If nature didn't give, like, if your IQ is like 100, you are never going to be smarter than Richard Dawkins. It's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. Right? If you're not ugly, you say you're a little bit average, like above average looking, and say you get a haircut and you wear better clothes and whatever, you're never going to be supermodel appearance. It's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen for you. Nature is ruthless. It applies it gives certain people certain strengths, and some people get no strengths. Some people get a couple of strengths. Reality is not fair. Reality is not fair. It doesn't care. It's random. If you're not smart, you're not psycho, and you're not hot, then you're gonna have a very hard fucking life. Like that's just the reality. Because those are the three factors that lead to success. And if you have more than one of those factors, you will find success incredibly easy. And that's just how I don't make the rules. By the way, I pass on a message. I don't make the rules. I wish it wasn't true.
Yeah, don't shoot the messenger, man.
Exactly. If I made the rules, I'd make it that the people that try hardest and are the most helpful and decent to other human beings, they would be the most successful people. That is how I would make the rules. That's how I would like it to be. But that's not true. That's not true. That's not real. And I have to adhere to truth. I have to adhere to what is real, right? Like what actually occurs. What is the reality of things? Effort is not enough. Like effort helps, but it's not enough. If you have a lot, like let's say you're like a 6 out of 10 naturally, and let's say you apply a lot of effort and you become an 8 out of 10. A 10 out of 10 still wins. You can improve, but you can't be the best. And this applies in every area: intelligence, looks,
physicality,
or if you're like this Dimitri guy who's trying to be like Tony fucking Montana.
I got one last question here from Is Why Not? He says a pal of mine is trying to bring his quote Yoko Ono to hang out in the male circle, and nobody's objecting.
He's lying.
Listen, any tips?
He's lying.
Hang on. He says any tips on
he's lying.
Listen,
Yoko Ono is some famous fashion bitch. He's already lying.
He said to bring his Yoko Ono, so I guess his version of the Yoko Ono. He wants to know if there are any tips on telling the guys to keep her out without ruffling too many feathers. So basically, I don't know why he's saying that a guy is trying to bring his version of a Yoko Ono to hang out in their male circle. I don't know where that comes from. Maybe she's Asian. I don't know. But he wants that's the only thing I can think of. Like, if you're calling her a Yoko Ono, I don't know if is she an Asian who looks a lot older than she is, who wears glasses? I don't know.
And ugly. She's right.
She was a grenade, dude. Like, I don't know what fucking Lennon saw.
Grenade.
Right?
Yeah.
Anyway.
I actually understand that reference. Yoko Ono is not hot.
Oh God. All right. So he wants to know if there are any tips on how he can tell the guys to keep ugly bitches out of their circle.
I feel like we got a bunch of super discontented 20-year-olds just throwing out questions for the fuck of it. Like, what does this question even mean? Like,
you know what? Actually, think of it this way: Yoko Ono I think Yoko Ono may have been the one who broke up the Beatles. So I think what he's trying to say is that there's a woman who is invading their male space who he believes is intent, directly or indirectly, on breaking up the circle, and nobody's objecting. So he wants to know what he should do to keep guys out. For the guys to keep her out without ruffling any feathers, dude. Telling them to keep her out, you're gonna ruffle feathers, dude. Okay, telling men, hey, you need to keep this. Listen, I'll never forget, man. I had the flyest apartment in Las Vegas, man. It was on the 14th fucking floor. Me and my homeboys used to get together. We used to party. We used to do all this crazy stuff. Dude, it was fucking awesome, man.
You said a helipad, dude.
Listen, man, it was fucking wonderful, and I paid through the nose for it. Anyway, one of my best friends down there used to say all that. He asked me this one time, "Yo, can I bring my girlfriend?" I'm like, "Dude, no." He's like, "Dude, you don't have to be an asshole about it." I'm like, "No, I'm being an asshole about it. Don't bring your."
And then me saying no, I'm being nice about it.
Yeah, dude.
This is me being nice.
Well, I handle it like an asshole. I said, dude, I'm going to be a fucking asshole about it. I don't want your fucking woman in this fucking apartment. And the reason I knew that is because all she's going to do is fucking attention whore. Here I am. I'm in Las Vegas. And like, oh my God, this is too high. And why is your TV so big? And why do you? No, fuck that. And he got pissed, but guess what? He ended up not bringing her because I put my fucking foot down. He may have gotten his feathers ruffled, but he didn't bring his fucking girl. So the question is, the answer to that is that you're going to have to ruffle feathers. If you don't want that woman in your space, you got to tell him you're going to have to ruffle feathers. This is it.
Man, it doesn't matter.
You can't be afraid of confrontation. If you're a man, you can't be afraid not to ruffle people's feathers, man.
Men, like, say you really love a woman, and you've been with her for quite a long time, and you don't want to lose her. You still need time away from her because women exert a certain influence and expectation on their immediate environment, right? So you need space away from a woman demanding and desiring womanly things. You need this. This doesn't mean, oh, you need to cheat on your woman and fuck strippers because your woman's not around. It doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean that. It just means that you need to be able to not have her oversight. You need your freedom.
Yes,
as a man amongst other men, and you must be wary if there are other men there who are single and they want you to like do stupid shit with stripper. You can say, no, you know, I don't want to do silly shit with a stripper, but I want to be away from my woman. Like there's a balance between the two. You've got the woman who won't let her man, and because the man's a cock or he's just under the thumb or whatever, he allows it. She won't let him go anywhere without her. And then if the man is without her, he's like moderating himself. Like you don't want that, but at the same time, like if you're a man in your relationship and you're serious about a relationship, do you really want to cheat on your girl with some thought somewhere because you're with your friends, with your boys? Like, dude,
that's how it happens. Happens more than you think. Trust me. I've been a facilitator of said infidelity.
I mean, if it happened more than I thought, I wouldn't be saying it. But
absolutely. I think what this guy is trying to do is he's trying to stay away from confrontation. And as a man, if you want to, and I don't want to even say
you're going to lose that way, dude.
Right. You listen.
Unfortunately,
I don't like listen. Confrontation is a necessary evil. I used to seek out confrontation, not so much anymore. But dude, it's necessary. Nobody likes it, but you got to do it.
Do you know what I tell 16-year-old version of me? Don't go out of your way to find confrontation, but just don't think anyone's going to like you.
Right.
They know like if you're not a bitch and you stand up for what you truly believe in. And you're contrarian, not to be an asshole, but because you truly believe whatever you've heard is incorrect. People aren't going to like you. No one's going to like you. Nobody's going to fucking like you. They're going to be like, oh, this guy, he disagrees, and he says something contrary to what is accepted. They're not going to like you. No, it's true. If you stand up for what you believe in, nobody, like, not nobody, but most people will not like you. They just won't. They're not going to like you. So if being liked is your primary preoccupation, you will not achieve what you want to achieve. Okay. So if you want people to like you and you just fit in, more people are going to superficially like you than they would otherwise. But you're not going to be content. You're not going to be happy because what you're portraying is not true of who you are. You're lying. You're lying to them. You're lying to your audience. And because you're lying to your audience, you're disappointed in yourself because you've shown them what they wanted to see, but that's not true of you. And now you feel like a fucking bitch. You feel like you're betraying yourself. So you must be prepared to not be liked. It's not about being liked. Life is not about being liked. Life is about the primary objective is making money so you don't die, so you can survive. And after that, after you have enough money to survive, it's about being right. It's about being true. And if you're wrong, and you will be wrong, if you're wrong and someone who knows more than you or is smarter, and you will, and by the way, I'm not a dumb dude, but I speak to dudes who are smarter than me, right? If someone is smarter than you or corrects you or points out something that you said or did that is incorrect, it's going to hurt your ego, but you have to accept it. You can't be an unassailable secret king and just deny it and have a fight.
King. I love it.
You can't do it. It's just like, okay, I was wrong. All right, okay, I'm wrong. I'm wrong about this shit. All right, if you can't accept when you're wrong, you lose. Like you lose the wider game of life. You lose. You have to know when you're wrong. You have to accept when you're wrong. You're not going to be right about everything. I'm not a dumb dude, and I'm wrong about stuff numerous times. I speak to dudes smarter than me. They teach me things, and I'm thankful that I'm not surrounded by morons, and that there are people who are like, well, you know, I like most of what you say, but you said this thing and it was wrong, and this is why it was wrong, and this is what is really right. It's not about my ego; it's about the truth. It's not about your ego; it's about the truth.
Yeah, there's a difference. Some people want to listen. Most people want to be right. Very few people want to get it right, and that's where ego comes into play.
Dumb people don't care about the truth, do you? They just want to be right. They just
want to be right. That's right.
They don't care. And then there's like egotistical smart dudes, and they just want to be right as well. It's like, but that's like the dumb thing about egotistical smart dudes. They just want to be right, and they don't care about it. You've got to assess it. You've got to analyze it. It's not just about your reputation. It's not just about your ego. No one gives a shit about your ego. Fuck your ego, right? What is true? If you're sustaining bullshit out of ego, you're a loser, right? And I'm saying that as someone who, I'm not saying I'm like the most humble person in the world or whatever. I know I'm not.
Yeah, but at some point, like, we're men. Like, at some point, the truth is staring you right in the face, and if you're still opposing it, just out of, just like you said, blind ego, you're being an idiot.
I just kind of feel like betraying the truth is betraying oneself, even though the truth is not contained within oneself. Like if you deny the truth and you know it, you like, part of you knows you're denying the truth, but it just like offends you and just fucking makes you angry to accept it. Like, for example, if I say to most, like, and this is quite controversial, if I say to most black dudes, your IQ on average is 15 points lower than a white guy, that's gonna piss them off. That's gonna piss them off. They're like, you being racist? I'm like, no. Like, why are you saying that? And I'm like, but it's true.
Listen,
it's literally true.
What you said is literally the same thing as telling fat women that men of value don't like fat women and that we prefer fit women. Well, why are you saying that? Well, because it's fucking true.
Because it's true.
Right.
I'm not trying to hurt you.
Right. Some things are just harder to accept than others. That's what it comes down to.
I'm not getting off of being a horrible person and making you feel shitty about yourself. It's true. Like, I want you to know the truth, and I want to say the truth, and I don't want your sensibilities to demand that I tell you what you want to hear rather than tell you what I believe to be real. That's what it comes down to. And it's the same with these like stupid fucking internet like beefs. It's like,
oh god, yeah.
It's just ego. It's like, you got to accept when you're wrong. You got to know when you're wrong, and you need nuance in your thinking as well. So most things I say won't be 100% right, but they will be correct enough to provide people who are listening some kind of value. I don't think everything I say is 100% irrefutable, undeniable truth that cannot be criticized. Most things can be like it's like the whole concept of divinity, of like God, is that it's not criticizable. You can't criticize it. It's perfect. It comes from the essence of creation. It's pure narcissism, right? As a person with opinions, you can't think that. You have your opinions are not divine. Right, you have strong opinions and you believe these things and you assert these things. But if you apply a truly scrutinous, rigorous, rational mind to the thing that is put to you that you do not like, you will find some consensus in that, and that's difficult because it's discomforting. Like you know, if someone tells me I'm wrong about something, to some degree, they're like, someone says, oh, you've been saying all this like red pill shit, and they can find a way that it's wrong or whatever, then it's not going to be completely comfortable to analyze that. But it's true and correct of me to analyze it, because if I don't, I'm being egotistical, and then I'm deluding myself to sustain my ego, right? And then I'm bullshitting myself. And this is what people do: they bullshit themselves because they want to feel good, and you can't do that. Like if you care about the truth, if you care about being correct, if you care about knowledge and learning, you can't do that. And this is what people do.
Well, I am once again. It has been a pleasure. We have just crossed the. I think we've done this for a little more than 2 hours. We got off to a little bit of a late start because you and I couldn't stop running our mouths off the air here. But guys, definitely bookmark his page. It is illimitable.men.com. He also has consulting. So definitely click on that link if you're interested in that. If you guys want to know, if you want to know
my
all
pinned
about,
tweet.
Okay.
A pinned tweet if you want that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It's go to his it's pinned to his Twitter page, his profile page. You can find that at Illimitable Man. And guys, listen, a lot of Dark Triad Machiavellian questions. Listen.
Bullshit. Oh, trust me. These guys pose like well, let me put this. Let me put this forth. I don't claim to be like some super Dark Triad guy or whatever. All right. But it's like, how do I know these things, and why has nobody else said these things? Well, I have greater exposure than the average person. So when someone approaches me and they claim that they are high in Dark Triad traits, and how do they increase a trait, or how do they better act on a trait? It's like, if you're a if you're really high in psychopathy, we're not asking anyone how to act on your psychopathy.
Right.
Like that is the it's, if you go to like a prison or a jail, right? Do you think that the most psychopathic guy in there is like trying to look for advice on? No, he's not. It's just bullshit. Like, it's just don't test me and disrespect me like that. I just.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you make a good point. And the thing is this, is if you really want to know about Dark Triad stuff, go to his website, man. I mean, for my money, you're the go-to website on really, truly understanding Dark Triad traits from a layman's perspective and point of view. To me, that's what it comes down to.
But I want to emphasize that in terms of Dark Triad traits, so there's three Dark Triad traits. So psychopathy, narcissism, and Machiavellianism, right? Psychopathy is the hardest trait to increase because it's based upon low anxiety and high. There's a sadistic aspect to it, so like a predatorial preying and a low sense of discomfort when confronting others. That is how I would crudely define.
It's almost as though your natural instinct for fight or flight has sort of turned. It's almost like your natural instinct for raw survival is lessened, because if you're walking into dangerous situations without thinking of the dire consequences, that to me, and I'm not a psychiatrist, but that sounds pretty psychotic to me. So
yeah, I mean, the point I was trying to make is that psychopathy is more of a genetic ingrained, like you can't learn it. And I think I said this in an article that I read an essay I read a few years ago. The closest thing you can have to psychopathy is stoicism, but stoicism is not predatory. It's just controlled and quiet and non-reactive, but it's not predatory, and there's no hunting aspect to it. Whereas narcissism is just ego, and ego can be manipulated via one's successes in life. So if I pay you $30,000 tomorrow, and you look and you say you go on your banking app or whatever banking app or so you go to your bank, wherever, I don't know how you see your bank balance. Wherever you go and view your bank balance, if you go there tomorrow and it's like plus $30,000, I am right. You're going to be like, I'm a fucking successful. I just got $30,000 in one transaction on my account. Like I'm a badass.
I'm a god. Yeah.
I like rule very poor, fucking desolate nations with my incredible bank balance. Like so narcissism, ego is either based on delusion or success, right? So you can kind of increase that. But psychopathy. So I've already gone over psychopathy, but psychopathy is an intrinsic characteristic that you can't really change, that you can temporarily alter via substance usage, and that's quite a that's a very unorthodox thing to say. I don't want to go into too much depth with that on the podcast because it's not.
Well, I was going to say we could certainly do like the next time we're on, man. I think the two topics that you and I think the two topics that could generate the most content for us. Number one is dark triad, just talking about that, and testosterone replacement therapy. I mean, dude, we can talk about that forever.
Well, I mean, the thing about TRT is, I mean, so I'm on TRT, right? And I've been on, what are we now? 23rd of September. I've been on TRT since April, all right? So, well, actually, I was on it before that, but I took a pause. So before I took a pause, so I've been on TRT for about a year, but I had a pause in my TRT because my physician. So right now, the TRT I do is not with not with a doctor. I just like self-medicate. But before I self-medicated, I was with a doctor. So between the first time I had a doctor and now is about a year. About 13 months. But there was a bit of a gap in that. And the second duration with TRT was since April. So I'm about 5 since my second attempt. I'm about 5 months in. But the thing about TRT is I do TRT and I hate needles. I fucking hate. I've been doing TRT for like. The thing is, right? Not all people have the same pain sensitivity. There's a genetic variable for pain sensitivity. So some men can put a needle in themselves and they feel like nothing, or barely anything, or they feel a little bit, right? And some men can put a needle in themselves and they feel like every fucking millimeter of the needle, right? And that's a genetic. If you go on 23andme.com and you get your genome analyzed, one of the genetic metrics is pain sensitivity. So you can have a high pain sensitivity, so you feel like every little bit, tiny millimeter of the fucking metal piercing your skin. And you're just hating it the whole time, or you're just like I do with like super low pain sensitivity, like you put the whole needle in and you feel nothing, right? So like there's a huge genetic distinction between the two, and they're gone.
We got to do this. We got to do this again soon. I think that making this a bi-weekly thing is absolutely a good idea, guys. Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Guys, like I said, you guys can follow him at Illimitable Man on Twitter. Definitely bookmark his page, illimitableben.com. You guys can follow me on Twitter at Donovan_Sharp. I'm also on Facebook. I'm also on Facebook as well as Instagram. I appreciate you coming on with me today, and we'll definitely do this again soon, my friend.
Much love, Donovan. Take care of yourself, and we will speak shortly.
All right. Stay away from those needles.
Well, I mean, as someone who's not a fan of needles, I have to use those motherfuckers because I'm on TRT.
There you go. That's how it goes.
Even if you hate it, you got to suck it up. You got to take the fucking pain and just deal with it because otherwise.
Take it easy, man.
I hate needles. I hate the motherfuckers. If you're on TRT, even if you hate needles, you have just got to fucking. It's not easy.
You gotta grin and bear it.
You got to grit your fucking teeth, like seriously, like grit those motherfucking teeth and just do it. It's what you need. It's the goodness. It's what's going to give you life. It's going to give you virility. It's what you need.
We'll do this again soon, my friend. Take care of yourself.
Take care, dude.
All right, bud.